On the news, Labour Party's 2023 presidential candidate Peter Obi and Abia State Governor Alex Otti defy Abure's warning hold parallel NEC meeting today. Rivers State Administrator Ibok Ete Ibas defies court order, appoints administrators for 23 local governments. FEC orders full implementation of Naira-for-crude deal. It's a pleasure to have you join us now on TV 360 Nigeria. I am Victoria Akonde. Now, barely 48 hours after the Julius Abure-led National Executive Committee of the Labour Party threatened to sanction Labour Party presidential candidate in the 2023 election, Peter Obi, and Abia State Governor Alex Otti over Wednesday's meeting, the camps of the duo told journalists that the summit will hold as planned. The acting chairman of the Nigeria Labour Congress Political Commission, Theophilus Undubuka, and Obi's media aide Umar Ibrahim disclosed this in two separate phone chats with journalists. The clarification comes in the wake of speculations that Obi and Otti are chickened out following Abure's threat of sanction. The union leader, however, confirmed that he would be attending the event. Now, the Rivers State Sole Administrator, Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas, has appointed administrators for the 23 local government areas of the state. Secretary of the State Government, Ibi Biaworika, disclosed this in a special government announcement issued on Wednesday morning. Although the details of the new appointees were not mentioned, the statement said the appointments take immediate effect. It was learned that Ibas also approved the constitution of some boards of agencies, commissions and parastatals which he had earlier suspended. The appointment is coming barely 24 hours after a federal high court sitting in Port Harcourt reportedly restrained Ibas from appointing administrators to oversee the affairs of local government councils. And the Governor Babaguna Umar Zulum of Borno State has expressed deep concern over the resurgence of Boko Haram attacks and kidnappings, warning that the absence of sustained offensive operations may be causing the state to lose ground in the fight against insurgency. The governor made this known during a special expanded security meeting held with traditional rulers and heads of security agencies at the government house in Maiduguri. TV 360's correspondent Solomon Josiah has a report.
Some parts of Borno State have seen a resurgence of Boko Haram attacks in recent times. Even military bases too have come under attack, leading to casualties and destruction of military equipment. The attack have caused displacement, forcing many to flee to neighboring Niger Republic, deepening the humanitarian crisis in the region. The state governor did not mince words when he summons a security meeting to review the situation.
The recent escalation of Boko Haram attacks across the state is a matter of utmost concern. There is urgent need for aggressive military action and actionable intelligence to counter the insurgency. The recent attacks on Savangari, Dambwa, Wulgo, Baga, and Mongono point to the need to up our ante in confronting the Boko Haram insurgency decisively and swiftly. I call on our armed forces to not only mount checkpoints and guard our towns and villages, I also call on our armed forces to take the battle to the enemy.
Appealing for a scaled-up military operations to the resurgence in tracks, the governor specifically called for the reconstruction of key federal roads which are critical to both security operations and humanitarian access. He also urged security agencies to lend full support to the state government's resettlement initiatives aimed at restoring displaced community.
The resettlement plan of the Borno State government is in high gear, with new towns and villages earmarked for return of our IDPs to their ancestral homes. Without tight and efficient security, our resettlement campaign will not succeed. Therefore, I implore on you to support my government's drive to restore the dignity of our people. The Borno State government will continue to work closely with the armed forces to execute our development and peace-building program. We are deeply conscious of the nexus between development, security, and peace. Hence, as we invest in critical infrastructure, We are all opening new avenues for our citizens to engage in agriculture and sustainable livelihood. All this will not be feasible without resourcing and empowering our security agencies to secure our territory and safeguard citizens' lives and properties.
Briefing journalists after the meeting, the State Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, Professor Usman Tao, outlined the resolution reached and highlighted proactive measures being considered to prevent further attacks and strengthen security across the state.
Council called on the federal government of Nigeria and armed forces of Nigeria to continue to support the ongoing efforts in counterinsurgency operations. On their part, participating security agencies, the chiefs of the participating security agencies, assured the council that they will do all within their resources and they will request for more assets and platforms with a view to enhancing their capabilities to confront the adversary.
Borno State has been battling with Boko Haram insurgency for over 10 years. The military has been able to push back the insurgents, allowing the state governments to begin a massive resettlement program. But the seeming resurgence in attacks recently poses a serious threat to the resettlement program and the successes recorded in the past. Solomon Josiah, TV 360, Borno.
Moving on, in response to the series of attacks and killings that have plagued some communities of Plateau State since March 28, 2025, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has ordered the immediate and comprehensive deployment of police tactical assets to the affected areas of the state. A statement signed by the Force Public Relations Officer of the Force, Olumuyiwa Adejobi, said the action underscored the force's resolve to restore peace, ensure the safety and security of all residents, and bring perpetrators of these heinous crimes to justice. The statement explained that the IGP has tasked the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of operations, DIG Dali Yakubu, to lead and coordinate the critical intervention. The operation will involve significant reinforcement, including highly trained tactical personnel, armored personnel carriers, police mobile force units, helicopters, and specialized platoons from the Special Intervention Squad, SIS. Still on security matters, the National Security Advisor, NSA Nuhu Ribadu, has warned against payment of ransom to terrorists, kidnappers, and other criminals. He gave the warning while receiving a fresh batch of over 60 rescued victims who have been in kidnappers' den for over a month following intense military pressure in Kaduna. Speaking shortly before handing over the rescued victims, which included 35 males, 29 females, and children, to the Minister of Defense, Mohammed Abubakar, Ribadu advised Nigerians, especially the families of kidnapped victims, to stop paying ransom to kidnappers, stating that it encourages the criminals to continue their evil deeds. Attributing the rescue of the victims to the resilience of the armed forces who continue to track and pursue them across their hideouts, the NSA expressed special appreciation to the armed forces.
We will continue. We will go after these people, those bad people who are responsible for this type of horrible criminal activities. Releasing them is not the end of the story. We will make sure that justice is done. Anybody who is involved will never see peace with him or with those who he decided to work with. We are going to continue. But I want to also use the opportunity to talk to our people. Please stop giving money to these people. It's one of the worst things that is happening. It's the most difficult thing we have faced. Many of these people, as you see them, their families are giving money to these people. But it did not lead to their own release. No, it is we, the security forces, that have got them out. It's not the money that they are giving. These people, the more you give, the more you are compounding the problems for us. We have never given anybody a dime. We don't. And we don't want people to do so. Please stop it. Inadvertently, it may be helping this thing. And we are saying enough is enough. We will not be able to stop this thing quickly if people continue to give them money. I want to make a very strong appeal to all. It's understandable. When someone of yours is in captivity, you will do whatever it takes for you to get him back. But this is counterproductive. It's actually encouraging for it to continue. The whole essence is to get money. And if you continue to give them, you are actually saying go and do more and more. We are appealing to our people, to the country, to everybody, that please, let's stop giving this money. Give us a chance for us to do the work. We'll get it done.
Now, diverse reactions continue to trail the rise in insurgents in the northern part of Nigeria. Joining me to discuss this further is security expert Dennis Amakri. Thank you so much for your time, sir. Now, Governor Zulum has expressed concerns about the resurgence of Boko Haram attacks and their impact on both security and the resettlement efforts in Borno State. Now, in your expert opinion, what immediate security strategies should be implemented to curb this resurgence? And how can the military effectively counter these insurgent attacks while ensuring the safety of displaced populations?
Thank you very much for having me. Now, the important thing there is that we have done this before. If you listen to the governor, he said that we are losing grounds. We are losing grounds, meaning that the insurgents, Boko Haram, has started to claim, part of the state. During the period of President Jonathan, they claimed up to seven local governments. And in fact, an election was postponed because of that, and then they wiped them out by using, a private military contractor. And now they have already taken 3. The show of Borno has said it, that they've already taken 3 local governments right now. So what do? I think the best thing we have to do is to listen to the governor, and at least the Nigerian military have to move in and help him. If we have to use PMCs, that is fine, as long as the job is done. I know there is a national pride in not employing PMCs, but I think that's what we have to do, because you allow them and they continue taking local governments and putting their flag in the different local governments is just not acceptable.
All right, sir. Now, moving away from Borno State, now, what are your thoughts on the National Security Advisor's warning against paying ransom to kidnappers? Now, do you believe this approach can effectively reduce kidnapping incidents in Nigeria?
Yes, not paying ransom to kidnappers will reduce the incidents of kidnapping. But the National Security Advisor had not completed it. I agree with him on not paying ransom, but how about response? How about response? Because what he has to do is to, yes, stop people from paying ransom, and people will stop paying ransom if they know that government is going to react. But government will not react. Most of the people that he's just handing over now have been with the kidnappers for 90 days, 40 days like that before they were released. So I think the best thing to do, don't pay ransom, but make sure that there is a standby response team across the country that will react immediately. Immediately it has been reported that some people have been taking hostages, then the people should react immediately. The response team should be either in the air or on the road within 10 minutes or 15 minutes of such a situation.
Oh, well, security expert Dennis Amakri, thank you very much for sharing your insights on the news. Thank you very much. Now, moving on, the Federal Executive Council has officially directed the full implementation of the suspended Naira-for-crude agreement with local refiners. The Ministry of Finance disclosed this on its official X handle titled Update on the Crude and Refined Product Sales in Naira Initiative on Wednesday. The first phase of the 6-month deal between the federal government, NNPC and Dangote Petroleum Refinery ended on March 31, 2025 and was not renewed, leading to the refinery stopping the sale of refined petroleum products in Naira. In a new update on Wednesday, the committee said the policy is not temporary but a long-term plan to cut Nigeria's dependence on foreign exchange for petroleum. This came after a key meeting on Tuesday to review progress and tackle ongoing issues. It added that the initiative is not a temporary or time-bound intervention, but a key policy directive designed to support sustainable local refining and to bolster energy security. Now moving on to the health sector, Nigeria's healthcare system is in crisis following the loss of over 16,000 trained medical doctors in less than a decade. At the 7th annual capacity building workshop of the Association of Medical Councils of Africa in Abuja, Health Minister Mohammed Pate highlighted the severe physical and systemic damage caused by the ongoing exodus of health professionals. He emphasized that the cost of training a single doctor in Nigeria exceeds $21,000, which this public investment now benefiting foreign health systems. Now, medical practitioner Philip Njemaze criticized the government's failure to prioritize the health sector, calling for interest-free loans for medical practitioners and better pay for young doctors, warning that without action, the country faces a devastated healthcare system.
This is a field whereby we can make a lot of compensation. However, I think in more public settings, it will affect some routine of work because the workload will be more on those who are serving. However, what is important is not the percentage drops and all that. These statistics is of secondary importance. What is important is what factors are making people to leave Nigeria, including doctors. It's a general trend. Why? And these are the issues to address. It's not a question of just citing the statistics and no specific measures that I know of that has been taken. Anywhere the government is not doing specific programs, then of course you will not have any impulse there to boost the sector. Health is national security. It's not, that is why the Nigerian constitution and laws prohibits foreigners from owning hospitals in Nigeria, because it's the same way the Cameroonian or Togo or Dahomey will not come here and own police station or army barracks, because health is national security. If we are at war with any country and they own our health facilities, they can kill us all, even without shooting a bullet. So health is national security. And what has happened in the country, unfortunately, is that over the years, they have treated health as one of those things we should have. And then after thought, no serious fundamental thinking has gone into it. And it's unfortunate. And they have also, the one unfortunate thing that has been done, anytime they want to do anything, and I mean the government in this case.
Now it's time for a short break. Still to come on News Now, China retaliates, raises duties to 84% on U.S. goods. We'll bring you more details right after this break. Welcome back. Now let's take you through our major stories. Barely 48 hours after the Julius Aburel-led National Executive Committee of the Labour Party threatened to sanction Labour Party presidential candidate in the 2023 election, Peter Obi, and Abia State Governor Alex Otti over Wednesday's meeting, the camps of the duo told journalists that the summit would hold as planned. The acting chairman of the Nigeria Labour Congress Political Commission, Theophilus Undubuka, and Obi's media aide, Umar Ibrahim, disclosed this in two separate interviews to journalists. We also told you that the Rivers State Sole Administrator, Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas, has appointed administrators for the 23 local government areas of the state. Secretary to the state government, Ibibia Warika, disclosed this in a special government announcement issued on Wednesday morning. Well, in case you miss any of our news bulletins or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV and AVO TV or log on to our website on www.tv260nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, at YouTube at TV260 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery, and Apple Store. On Facebook, we are at TV360 Online. Now it's time for business news. Joy Uchejim has the latest. Over to you, Joy.
Thank you, Victoria, and welcome to Business News. Now, the Trump administration has significantly ramped up its trade confrontation with China, announcing a staggering 104% tariff on Chinese imports after Beijing failed to meet a key deadline to lift its retaliatory tariffs. This latest move follows President Donald Trump's assertion that China is eager to make a deal badly and aims to exert additional pressure on Beijing in the ongoing trade standoff. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt confirmed that the new tariffs will take effect at midnight on April 9th, delivering a sharp escalation in the trade conflict between the world's two largest economies. In retaliation, China has announced new tariffs of 84% on imports of all U.S. goods in a move that sent stock markets falling further and will raise fears of further escalation of Donald Trump's trade war. We'll go on a short break and return with stock market reports. Welcome back. Now, the trading activities on the Nigerian equities market closed negative at the end of Wednesday as the NGX ASI decreased to 104,376 from the 104,187 recorded at the close of the previous trading session. Now, on the losing side, Hardal McCall came out last with an end-of-day price depreciation of 10% at 5 Naira 22 kobo, followed by Learn Africa. Now, the summary of our market activities shows a total of 376 million shares in 11,576 deals, corresponding to a market value of over 11 billion naira being traded. Now, on the foreign scene, our select global equities closed with mixed outcomes after the previous day's closes. The previous day's losses rather. The Japan's Nikkei and the UK's FTSE suffered a bearish close, while the US increased by 0.16%. Now, in the foreign exchange markets, the Naira depreciated further against major currencies in the parallel market, trading at 1,320 Naira to a dollar, 2,015 Naira to the British pound, and 1,720 Naira to the euro. And that's more business and stock market updates. Back to you, Victoria, for the rest of the news.
Thank you very much, Joy, for that update. Now going to the global scene. In response to a significant spike in crime, New Mexico Governor Michelle Grisman has declared a state of emergency in Albuquerque, marking a historic move to deploy the New Mexico National Guard to aid local law enforcement. The executive order signed by the governor will see between 60 and 70 National Guard troops stationed along the iconic Route 66 corridor beginning in midday. The move aimed at tackling a growing crime wave in New Mexico's largest city also frees up state funds to support the deployment with training for the troops already on the way. Albuquerque, like many other cities across the nation, has faced mounting pressure from increasing crime rates, and local law enforcement has expressed the need for additional resources. Now up next is entertainment reports on News Now.
Nigerian music superstar Davido has officially revealed plans for a white wedding with his wife Chioma, set to hold in Miami this August. Speaking during an interview on The Breakfast Club, Davido compared Nigerian marriage customs to those in the United States, noting how family dynamics often play a significant role in African unions. The singer, who previously held a lavish traditional wedding in Nigeria, shared the update while reflecting on cultural differences and the intense public attention surrounding their relationship. He went on to recall how his traditional wedding turned into a nationwide celebration and how the white wedding in August 2025 will be a continuation. Joy Uchejim, TV360, Lagos.
Finally, on sports, Chippa United head coach Thabo September has acknowledged the likelihood of losing several key players, including Nigeria's Super Eagles goalkeeper Stanley Nwabali, during the upcoming June transfer window. The club has faced challenges in retaining top talent, with many players having moved on to other teams in previous seasons. Despite Nwabali signing a new contract earlier this season, interest from foreign clubs remain high. September conceded that the club may have to part ways with players that can no longer keep as part of broader strategy to rebuild and prioritize youth development. Still on sports, the Premier League will have at least 5 teams in next season's Champions League, with England guaranteed one of 2 spots reserved for Europe's best performing nations. England currently sit top of UEFA's Nations Coefficient rankings for 2024-25, ahead of Spain in second and Italy in third. Under the new Champions League format, 2 group stage positions are given to the best performing countries in Europe the previous season, which saw Italy and Germany gain an extra qualifying spot for this season. There are still 5 Premier League teams in Europe, more than from any other country. And that wraps up our bulletin on News Now. Many thanks for joining us. See you next time.